Hey, what's up everyone? Paul here with Warhorse Tactics. Today I want to talk about rainy weather training. Do I train in the rain? Absolutely. I try to do it as much as possible, but sometimes, man, it just gets wet and you still want to train, you still want to practice. So one of the things I recommend is dry fire shooting. Benefits of dry fire shooting is you're still working on those fundamentals, no matter which fundamental you're working on. And it's also a lot cheaper than going to the range. Highly recommend if you got a training schedule, train in the rain or go to that indoor range and practice and train. But this is something that I can do every day. Most people don't go to the range every day. They don't have a range in their backyard to shoot. But I feel it's important to train as much as possible, whether you set up a routine once a day, a couple times a week, whatever. But that's more muscle memory that you're achieving. What can you dry fire on? Pretty much everything except for mitigating recoil and muzzle flip. One of the things that I do every time I put a firearm on, if I'm concealed carrying, I will unload that firearm. I'll check to make sure it's unloaded before I start doing my dry fire exercise. And I initially just do a handful of draw strokes just to work on those repetitions. After I fine tune and make sure my draw strokes are good to go, fundamentals, make sure I have natural point of aim, make sure I'm establishing sight picture, sight alignment, and then I'll go ahead and work on trigger control. Make sure every time I pull that trigger, I'm not moving my sights off the target, whether I've got a red dot or iron sights. If I'm jerking the trigger incorrectly, and I do exercises where I'm jerking the trigger, I'm just jerking the trigger without disturbing the alignment of the sights to the target. So I'll do everything starting off nice and slow, concise, slow is smooth and smooth is slow. And then I start picking up my speed. Like I said, in my draw stroke, it'll look something like this. I'll initially make sure my firearm is unloaded, and then I have a timer. I recommend training with the timer. I'm not going to use the timer today. Don't let a timer intimidate you. It's a great tool when you're training by yourself. It's also a great tool. You don't really, if you're training in a group, you don't really know how fast you're going. Don't be scared of it. It doesn't matter how fast your draw stroke is. If you start out with a 4-second draw stroke, at least you have a baseline, and then you can slowly improve that draw stroke and get faster until you're to a point where you feel comfortable. Yeah, this is fast enough, and I'm not using my accuracy, or I'm not losing my accuracy. So like I said, right off the bat, I'll just start drawing the firearm nice and slow, add that trigger control in, reset my hammer every time, and then slowly just speed it up, making sure that I don't catch my shirt. My fundamentals are still sound. Reloads, you can practice reloads. Trigger control, fundamentals, malfunctions. There are so many things that you can practice when you're dry firing. And one of the things I recommend, I know a lot of people go out, watch YouTube videos and try to, emulate those as close as possible. Y'all take class from a reputable, embedded instructor, and he can fine tune those movements, basically break down your draw stroke, make sure you're doing it properly. I took a motorcycle course about a month ago on how to ride, a dirt bike, and I think I'm doing it right. And then when a coach looked at my body position, he was pointing all this stuff out that I didn't even realize that I was doing. So it's nice to look in a mirror and kind of emulate stuff. But man, a good coach, a good instructor can break down those fundamentals and your techniques and make sure you're doing it right. Because there's a lot of stuff that you don't see whenever you're out there training on your own. So y'all keep training. We offer classes here. If you're not local, know a lot of instructors in the area and around the country that I can definitely recommend. All those catch lines, you get what you pay for, and all that stuff. Experience matters, but make sure that you're going to reputable instructors and training, practicing, learning, and especially if you're carrying a firearm all the time, and make sure you're getting out there and putting rounds down range and dry firing, because Lord forbid, if you need to use a firearm, you're always going to you know, your ability is going to be at your lowest level of training. You're never going to rise to the occasion. I hate to say that, but that's just the way that it is. So get out there and train and practice and, you know, get better. Hopefully I'll see you guys on the range. You guys have a great day.